This episode is brought to you by Target.
Good morning. Star Wars Week continues again. We went to Target and lost our minds and got just a bunch of toys. They're all going to be up here. But we are talking about so many things. We're talking about the Tenet trailer that just came out today. We're going to talk about the reaction that everyone has had to Cats, our favorite movie, obviously. There is a great article up on Fandom.com about the psychology of Kylo Ren. We will be talking about that. That will be spoiler-free. We will not spoil Star Wars for you. We do have a spoiler chat coming up. That will be on Saturday. That will not be today. And of course, babies, we got to talk about that Masked Singer. So let's get into this. First off, the Tenet trailer reaction. I've got my Roxy here. Hello.
That is true. I'm here.
I've got my Dan.
I go crazy every time I go to Target. I'll go in there for like a pen and walk out with like a basket of stuff.
I legitimately have done that every time I've gone to Target. I go in for one thing, I leave with 500 things that I didn't even know I needed.
That's how they get you.
Clearly did.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem. So the Tenet trailer, we all saw that. That was via Warner Brothers Entertainment. WB and Nolan back together again with the new trailer for Tenet. We've all seen it. What did you think?
I thought it was interesting. It's not the direction I necessarily thought we were going to go with the next Nolan film. John David Washington's just such a star.
Yes.
So that makes me excited with how much he was. It's so focused on him and Robert Pattinson for the win also. So I'm interested. I feel like I'm not fully clear on what this movie's going to be, but I'm interested.
And and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I would rather that. See, for me, I was talking to Dan about this earlier. IMDb does not have him listed, John David Washington, as top cast. That doesn't mean anything. A lot of times the IMDb doesn't know anything and they don't say. But knowing it is a Nolan movie, part of me is like, is he actually going to be the focus piece of this movie? Or is this one of those like Nolan tricks where he's gone in the first act or whatever? We don't know.
Interesting question. I don't know.
Yeah, Nolan loves playing with time. That's like his thing, is he likes to play with time. Like all of his original stuff that's like the non-Batman stuff. Mm-hmm. If you look at Memento, if you look at Interstellar, if you look at Dunkirk, the way that he edited this film, and now this film looks like it's literally playing with time. If every 10 years Chris Nolan comes, like the groundhog, he's like a sci-fi groundhog. If every 10 years Chris Nolan comes out and makes like this bold original sci-fi movie, I'm all for it. Because Inception, believe it or not, was almost 10 years ago.
That is wild.
That's crazy. But I think it looks cool. I like the idea of Tenet now makes sense as a title because it's the same forwards and backwards, and it looks like that's what the movie is gonna be. I like it's really intriguing to me. I like that I don't know what this movie is.
What is it? Do you guys have any what is this? How would you describe? Yeah.
Sci-fi.
What is the log line even?
And what's exciting and what's interesting for me is that this trailer is coming out like right on the heels of Watchmen, which is also dealing with a lot of these like everything is now, the present is the past, the future is the present, yada yada yada. So that is really interesting to me. Obviously not on purpose, but just that playing with time seems to be in the zeitgeist right now.
I feel that way in my own life and love watching things that address that, where it just feels like memories are current day and current day is future, and you don't, I feel like everything feels like at once all of the time. I basically am Dr. Manhattan, just to be clear.
You playing around with that fourth dimension?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing around with some fourth dimension blue dong stuff going on. But I think that this kind of stuff is so fascinating because we are just little blips on this radar, and we're gone like that. And so it kind of, in the scheme of things, everything is happening at once, forward and backward, and I don't know. I'm interested, but again, no idea what it is. Also excited for Aaron Taylor Johnson. Just got to interview him, and I think he literally could not have been a sweeter, kinder, cooler person. So you just root for that so hard. So I'm excited for him.
Robert Pattinson looks great.
Yeah.
I love that he's now, Christopher Nolan is, this is one of my favorite things about him. I love that he's not telling people to go watch his trailers in theaters.
I know, I laughed so hard.
He loves the theatrical experience so much that like they were done with the trailer. He's like, you should tell them to go watch the trailer in a theater as well. He doesn't talk like that at all, but that's sort of how I hear it.
In my head, he talks exactly like that, man.
I love that he's just like, you not only do you have to watch my movies in a theater, you have to watch my trailer in a theater.
Mm-hmm. He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. No, but Dunkirk was a movie that I didn't have particularly strong feelings about, but I still maintain that he is a filmmaker who makes work that almost demands
Absolutely.
to be seen on the medium of film, and not just the medium of film, but in the setting of a theater. And
Some might call it cinema.
some might call it cinema.
I've heard of that.
It's spectacle filmmaking, and a lot of times that's sort of used as a derogative term or derogatory term, because a lot of times some directors take that to also mean empty filmmaking. That to be a spectacle, you have to be empty.
No.
And what Christopher Nolan has figured out is that's not the case. As a matter of fact, you can make spectacle filmmaking that's very deep and rich with stuff. And I've loved some of his movies. There's been others like Interstellar and Dunkirk that I've had complicated feelings about, but I can't deny that he is maybe the best cinematic director working today. And so that will always get me excited about a movie that he's making, regardless of what I thought of the previous film.
Yeah, there are very few movies where I'm like, I usually don't. I want to see it in the best way I can. I'm not usually too picky. I want to see it in that Dolby. I want to see it, looking really good. But I'm not too picky about whether I see it in IMAX or not. And Nolan movies, I need to see them in IMAX. I just do. The first time, at least.
Mm-hmm.
What is your guys' number one, Nolan?
Oh, discounting the Batman films, I think it's got to be Inception.
Why are you discounting the Batman films?
Well, just because
Change the rules of my game, Danielle.
Well, because I feel like a lot of, and I do this a lot on camera, like, and this is fair, is that when we talk about people like these movies, a lot of time we spend a lot of time talking about Batman. We spend a lot of time talking about comic book movies, and I love them. I've been reading comics since I was a kid. I'm deep into the lore. I know all of the stuff, but also I like to promote and really talk up movies that aren't necessarily just comic book genre movies, because I know we're always going to talk about those. And so I like to kind of talk about other stuff as well and make sure that I'm giving that stuff its due, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Inception and Dark Knight are like 1A and 1B for me, although I very much like Batman Begins as well. In some ways, I like it more as a Batman movie than Dark Knight, although I like Dark Knight more as a movie, if that makes any sense.
That makes perfect sense.
But like right underneath that, though, is Memento, which I love.
I love Memento.
I love The Prestige is a great movie that I think is gaining traction with time. There's a few that I don't like, but that's also every. It's weird with filmmakers like Nolan who are building a legacy in real time, and especially now that we're all online and connected more in a way that, like, I almost feel like a legacy is now being judged in real time in a way that wasn't necessarily earlier. And so,
Are you talking about Twitter?
I'm talking about everything. Just the idea of, the film discourse is now democratized, which I think is largely a good thing. That it's not just kind of relegated to an elite group of people at the top who sort of talk down to everyone. That everyone can now be a part of it. There's two sharp edges on that blade. It is a double-edged sword. But I think largely I like that we've opened the forum for people to have a chance to figure it out. But
more voices is never a bad thing.
More voices is never a bad thing. But the other side of it is that it's like everything is in real time now, and there's no perspective. We just live in the moment, and whatever's happening right now is his history. And I think that Nolan, when you look back on his filmography, every filmmaker has some movies that are up here and some movies that are maybe down here and some movies that are here, but it's you judge them on their filmography and the volume of their work.
And and you're exactly right. And it's funny because I see on Twitter all the time where people will be like, oh, does anybody remember this thing from 3 years ago? No one ever talks about it anymore. And it's like, no, we don't. And that has been something I've especially noticed now that we're winding down the decade and everyone's doing like their best of the decade and all this stuff. All of the things that you're right. We talk about it. The news cycle is so quick now everywhere. We talk about a movie for 3 days and then we're done with it, like forever.
He's never made an uninteresting film.
No. Which
is rare, I think. So that's why I'm always excited by what he's doing. I've never walked out of a Christopher Nolan film going, It's always been evoked a very strong response, with the exception of maybe Insomnia. It's always evoked a very strong response, and I think that is a gift. That is a gift as a filmmaker, I think.
Absolutely. Rox, any final thoughts?
I think it's so interesting what you're saying, Dan, because I think he's my favorite director, but I don't know that for sure because I am living in real time. So like it's easy for people to look back and be like, Alfred Hitchcock is the best director of all time, or whatever people think. You can talk about these people whose filmography started, had a middle, and then had an end, and then you can say what they're. But right now, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what happens tomorrow. Tennant could be egregiously horrible. I don't think it's going to be. But then does that taint it? Does it not? Because we love his other work. Like, if he does 4 of those in a row, is it bad? So he is currently my favorite, but it's hard to be like, he's the greatest director of all time because what? He's this time. Right now. So
just like the movie. That's crazy.
Life imitating art, imitating life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that is great. This is the part of the show where I thank all of you so much for your liking and your subscribing. You share all the stuff that we do. You turn on your notifications. You do that commenting. You hit that bell. Oh, Ryan still got it from the booth.
I didn't think he was going to do it.
Yeah.
Wow. Ryan, I doubted you. I'm so sorry.
Well done. But yeah, so because of that, we get to do a lot of really cool stuff. Like we have a new episode of Power Levels out, which is Captain Marvel and Thor versus Wonder Woman and Superman, which is a huge one. Rox obviously got to work on that.
Yeah, God, I love this series so much, and I'm looking at all the comments, and whether you're loving it, you're hating it, or you're somewhere in between, it is getting people talking, and I'm obsessed with people being on one side, another. Like Power Levels, man. Spencer's so good. Billy's been amazing. I love this show. I love it. I want to do Power Levels forever. I love it so much. The art. What?
No, the animation is amazing, and the ability to be able to combine that, and y'all, we talk about it, but there are so many, if you just pause on any given frame, there are so many little weird jokes that are inside the animation frames that make me super happy.
They do a really good job animating that show.
So good.
Incredible.
Yeah, it looks incredible. It's really funny. The writing's great. Rox is great. The math is something I don't pretend to understand.
The amount of times that I have to come in and change 1 decimal point of a number because they're like, oh no, we're 1 decimal point off. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
That math, though.
See, that's why I appreciate it, because folks are trying to be thorough. Also, Never Surrender, our Galaxy Quest documentary. Y'all wanted it. Y'all got it. It is available now. The links are available in the description. You can go and check that out. Get that on iTunes. Plus, we did do an honest trailer for Galaxy Quest, which is on Screen Junkies. So you can make sure that you can check that out as well.
I'm so really impressed by you guys. It's just such a huge, like, what an accomplishment. Holy crap.
Yeah, it was really great to be able to see the documentary on the big screen. We had Dan as well, who also cut a trailer for the documentary, which is incredibly exciting.
It's fun, yeah, and I forgot what I was. I had something in the chamber, and then it just it went away. So thank you.
What, do you work a lot of hours or something?
Yeah, exactly. It had to do with Galaxy Quest, and I feel like it was complimentary to everyone that watched. But oh no, it was a programming note, because you mentioned the Galaxy Quest honest trailer, and because we haven't done commentaries, we didn't do one last week, and we haven't done one yet this week. It's not, the show's fine. It's not going anywhere. I get it.
We're still commentarying. We promise.
It's with the holidays and like getting all of the programming done and studio time, which has been at a real premium because we're shooting stuff here.
We're trying to make sure that we still have stuff for y'all to watch.
We just have our schedule's been thrown a little up. Plus the upload schedule on the Screen Junkies channel with Power Levels and with everything else, it's just been a little wonky these last couple of weeks. Not wonky, but just out of rhythm. So I think we are going to do a Galaxy Quest honest trailer commentary. We are, and it's going to come out. It's just that we're a little off our rhythm because of the holidays and pre-tapes and scheduling. So don't worry about commentaries. It'll be out. It's just we're just sort of out of our usual rhythm, as always happens at the end of the year, because there's just so much to tape and do. We're not
normally get in January.
Yeah, in January it's all going to get back to right where it is. It's just right now it's a little hectic.
Yeah. Well, because we don't go dark at all over the holidays, so we've got something queued up for every day that you would normally get something, at least as far as SJU goes and honest trailers goes.
Yeah, like on Christmas we're not going to be here, but there are going to be things for you to watch.
So it's like a slide puzzle trying to get everything in. So don't worry about commentaries, and sorry didn't mention it before, but it's fine, and you're going to get one for Galaxy Quest.
Absolutely.
It's been crazy. We were going to do it yesterday, actually, but then Spencer had to leave, and then we're not going to do it without Spencer. So
yeah, it was whole Spencer.
Yeah.
And also, we're so happy that we actually get to use the platform that y'all have allowed us to have so that we can pay it forward and shine a light on some organizations that do great work. And Dan is also going to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, 826 LA, they're a nonprofit program that helps under-resourced students age 6 to 18 to help inspire their creative skills, creative writing, etc. Perhaps find the person that's going to write the next Galaxy Quest.
Whoa.
I mean, that would be great,
Pressure's
right?
on.
Yeah. But really, it's helping teachers inspire the students to write. It's helping the kids find an outlet to write, to develop those creative skills. Those are skills that are highly valued by a lot of people, but I think not enough people, particularly in a lot of educational systems where funding priorities being what they are. The money may not be going necessarily to the creative side of things. 826 LA is out there trying to foster that environment of creativity, which is a great cause and a great organization. So check out the links below. You can find out more information about their program, how you can help, how you can donate, how you can volunteer, all kinds of stuff. It is a really great cause, and we've got to find the next Chris Nolan. Who's the next what's the next generation of artists going to be?
Yeah,
let's go find them.
Who's going to write the next Cats? Which, speaking of, that brings us into segment 2.
No one could do that.
So the review and reaction embargoes lifted yesterday for Cats. No Cats spoilers. It wouldn't matter if we did.
Oh, you can only experience this by experiencing it. Yes.
Yeah, totally.
So what? I feel like a lot of people have been talking about Cats. I've seen a lot of the chitter chatter on the Twitters. A lot of folks saying that look, it's getting some bad reviews.
I love
but
that picture,
actually,
and then just the word cats.
Cats.
It's so fitting for the bizarre series of circumstances we find ourselves in.
But people even online have been like, the not so great reviews make me want to go see Cats more. I got tickets yesterday. I am going with a bunch of Nerdist folks and weird writers, and we are going to go on Sunday, and I couldn't be more excited. Why do you think that so many people are so pumped for Cats?
It is. A lot of times a movie will come out and I'll even as a critic, I'll read some of the reviews and I'll think I think people are just sort of piling on here and they're trying to kind of make a splash and maybe over exaggerate. I think the Emoji Movie was one of those. I kind of thought that was going on in the sense of it was not good, but it wasn't the most abominable piece of garbage, the downfall of Western society. This movie is as advertised. I will say that.
Yes.
I think that it's not very often that an actual cinematic disaster comes along that you know about and that gets this wide of a platform. It's like if The Room was released on 3,000 screens. It's
we live in a gilded age.
It's so watchably terrible that I think people know that this is a unique experience. I can't, as I did on the review yesterday.
Look at that. What is that?
I could never recommend that you go see this movie as a critic. I couldn't in good conscience, but at the same time, it is a one of a kind experience. I mean, you've never seen anything like it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I feel so torn on this because I think to answer your question, why people want to go so bad, there was so much surrounding this movie, starting with the trailers, and if you want to see what the trailers presented, then you want to see this movie, and if you don't want to see what the trailers presented, then you don't want to go see this movie. If you watch the trailer and you're like, that looks whack, I need to see that, go. And if you go into this movie thinking you're going to get something different, you're going to be really disappointed. But I think that with the trailer and all the buzz there, then the rumors being, or maybe this is fact, that it went into picture lock 24 hours before the screening happened.
Oh, everything is so
I
bad.
heard they didn't even it's already passing into myth because I heard they didn't even have time to finish all of the visual effects shots.
Yeah, I heard that it was on. I heard that there was 10% still green screen 24 hours before we saw it.
I heard that. Somebody said there's a fourth wall break in this movie, and I won't say who.
And again, it's fine. It doesn't change anything knowing this about going into the movie.
Someone was at an actual screening of the movie, and this was shortly before the official press screenings, and that the actor, it switched to green screen in the middle of this long monologue to camera because it just wasn't
Ready. Every single actor and the director pulled out of doing press the day before, so all of their press tour was canceled. So I think that all surrounds the myth, the legend, the hype for this movie, because it's like, what the actual F is this? What are we going to see? For anybody who knows the musical, like if you know the musical Cats, this was Cats. This was Cats on screen. And Cats is like maybe one of my least favorite plays of all time, because I don't...
Yeah, it's nothing.
Because I mean, there is like such a lack of story or heart in it that I'm like, wow. But that's exactly what they gave. They gave me exactly what Cats is. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand people being angry about this movie, because some of the reviews were rather upset, and it's like...
Angry is weird. That's
weird.
A weird reaction.
I don't know how you could get angry.
Angry at this. Yeah, you could dislike it, and probably will dislike it, but the experience will be much enhanced for you if you decide to do what I did, which is go in, enjoy yourself a time beforehand, let loose. I think I might have eaten like 15 bags of popcorn inside that movie theater. I've never...
Only let loose if it's legal in your state, kids.
Totally. Or you're legal in your state. Yeah. I could not look away from the screen. I could not stop staring at how the movement, man, like, whoa, truly a visual different medium than I've seen before.
I mean, I did not partake, but because I do want to review with a clear mind. But yes, there were, and I just found out this morning, and I mentioned this before, they were offering drinks at the screening, and what Roxy informed me that I didn't realize was it was unlimited drinks.
They give you one drink ticket, but it's unlimited drinks.
Right.
So like you could just keep saying.
Okay, so
like,
you legally partaked and then also had free drinks.
Oh, they were meow-mosas. Yes. So
they
gave everyone. They did everything they could. They gave everyone cat ears. There was gold and black tattoos for everybody. If you wanted a sheet of tattoos,
Their marketing people knew exactly.
There was unlimited drinks. If you went back and asked for more, you could have as many. There was free popcorn and other beverages, sodas, like anything you wanted. They gave you.
Also, this never happens at a press screening.
Ever.
Never.
Ever. I've never seen it. We were all congregating in the lobby beforehand because they actually sent out an email saying there were going to be drinks. Like, they wanted you to know, come here early, we got you.
Which doesn't, again, this was not a Cats, like, this was not like a party that the press was invited to. Like, this was a press screening. And the studio was openly like, we're gonna get you drunk. You want to party? You want to party and watch some Cats?
There were ears of like 15 different colors. They did everything they could to make you have an enjoyable experience during this movie.
Hats off. Yes, the marketing team certainly had a very strong grasp on
what
the tone and tenor and what they were doing and the mentality that I think some people walked into with regard to this movie. I can't be mad at this movie.
No.
I just can't imagine walking out of the theater angry at this movie, like confused, amused, bewildered, creeped out, scared. I could see all of that, but anger is the one emotion I can't imagine having walking out of this movie.
I'll give it this. I will give it this one thing. Memory is saying so beautifully well. Jennifer Hudson is a star.
Yeah.
That I'll give it.
Does she look as weird and creepy as she does in the commercials?
No. That's the other thing is that trailer. While the effects are still undeniably creepy, that trailer was so much work. Like, it was obvious that they barely worked on the effects at all. Which, again, why choose to make that the focal point of your first trailer? Awful, unfinished cat effects, because the cat, they actually do look much better.
Okay,
in the
because
finished
that,
version.
what I'm looking at right now, is terrifying.
You know what they are not,
then
though?
you're going to be terrified.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I am really pumped for this movie.
Here's what none of the cats were, and I know this is a very weird thing to say, and hopefully this doesn't put me on some kind of a list somewhere, but none of the cats were sexy. Like, you know how sometimes people like put on cat ears and that's like a hot, whatever. None of it was like, look at that cat. It was all like weird. That's a weird ass cat.
I will.
Does that make any sense?
It does, but I'll disagree with you on one point.
Okay.
When McCavity the mystery cat, played by Idris Elba, takes his trench coat off,
It does it for you. Okay.
I mean, it stirred sensations in me I didn't know existed. I don't know if it was the weird, just this odd fusion of things, of the visual effects, the cumulative effect that an hour and a half of this movie had on my brain and the chemistry of my brain and the psychology. Maybe you were immune to it because your brain chemistry was already a little.
there.
Mine was in I didn't even have a free mimosa, so my brain chemistry was in a very solid place. So I think perhaps.
Are you sure it wasn't the contact meow?
It was something like I felt myself like going to the heavy side layer, and by the end of it, I was just like, McCavity the mystery cat. Didn't look too bad.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I really do. Did you guys hear Jason Derulo's comments before this?
Yes, about his prodigious genitals.
All adding to the mystery of this movie, because he just wants to let you know he is packing more than they show visually here. Thank you, Jason, for that.
Thank you.
That was the big takeaway for the press tour for this movie.
Yeah, that's I don't know what psychology you need to be able to say repeatedly that your dong had to be wiped out of the movie. But that brings us into segment 3. I tried.
My favorite transition ever.
Memories.
This is via Fandom, the psychology of Kylo Ren. So we had an actual doctor, Dr. Drea Letamendi, is back on Fandom.com with a piece about the psychology of Kylo Ren. Again, there are not going to be any Rise of Skywalker spoilers on this thing. Not here, not today. But we're going to talk a little bit about Kylo Ren, or at least as far as 7 and 8 are concerned. So where do you think that Kylo Ren stands amongst Star Wars villains and characters as a whole?
I am completely obsessed with Kylo.
Yeah?
I love Kylo Ren so much. I've been obsessed with Adam Driver forever.
Since Girls? Or?
Yes. But just his entire, being a military man, going to Juilliard after. I just think his journey is fascinating. I think he's a ridiculously talented performer, unique look. And I love him. And then I love Kylo. I even loved whiny Episode 7 Kylo. So I think I stand on an island for that one.
No, Kylo Ren was my favorite character coming out of The Force Awakens. Of all, and I didn't really dislike any of the characters, particularly the new ones, but my favorite new character, I guess I should say, because I loved Han Solo in that movie, the best. But I think...
Did you feel that in Last Jedi also?
Well, it's weird because The Force Awakens, I thought I just related to, not in a sense of like I'm going through this, but he played that struggle so well, and this idea of fighting his best and worst instincts, and ultimately the side that you don't want to win out wins out. 2, I think, was with The Last Jedi. One of my things, and this is brought up a lot, is like I think his philosophy got mixed in with the film's philosophy a lot of like kill the past, and then the I think the fact that I think that the Rian Johnson's film, outside of the narrative of the film, was struggling a little bit with its own stance on Star Wars. And so I think that because of that, Kylo's arc got a little meshed and muddled with that a bit. But the ethos of what he was trying to do, I think somewhat spoke to his character coming out of the first film. And then obviously, I won't say anything about this movie, but I do think that they really did a good job, particularly in the first movie, of portraying this guy who's struggling and who's has been betrayed by one authority figure, one family member in his life, and is now turning to a dead one for guidance, and is just searching for those answers. I think that's a very compelling story that I do wish in the first two movies, and particularly the second one, had been a little more well-rounded narratively.
Right.
How do you feel, Danielle?
I see. I thought that he was interesting in episode 7. I was a little like, why are you whining so much? Why are you killing off my man Han Solo? But why you do that, Kylo? That ain't nice. I appreciate Adam Driver so much, and I love his performance. I love all the stuff that he does.
Yeah.
People wanting to bang Kylo Ren was like not a thing that I really got or get. I think that's a little. He like destroyed a bunch of planets, dudes.
Do people want to bang Vader? Is it that?
Yes.
Okay.
Really?
I missed both these things.
Like
people want
like Hayden Christensen Darth Vader, or like robot suit James Earl Jones Darth
Robot
Vader?
suit James. Anything can be found if you check the internet.
Well, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, people definitely want to get Darth. Thank you for that, Ryan. Any last Kylo Ren thoughts? Or do we just leave it on people want to get Darthed?
People want to get dark.
All right. Well, speaking of masks, boom, boom, boom.
Nice.
We have got. There was the finale of The Masked Singer. Now we have to let you know.
We have a situation here.
We have a situation.
I'm working on
a million things.
Plug. I'm working on a supercut of the decade in film. The editing for the Galaxy Quest trailer like awakened the editing force in myself, and so I'm working on a supercut of the decade in film, which will be right now it's about 10 minutes long. Sorry, it's 10 years.
10 years.
What's
10
wrong
years,
with
1
that?
minute a year.
Yeah.
But I have been trying to get this finished, and so last night I was working on it at home, and I completely forgot that The Masked Singer was on.
I mean, first of all, how dare you?
I know. I know. I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis and There Will Be Blood. And
Wow.
I've abandoned my child. But I don't want to lose out on the talk. So here's I know that Roxy, you're a new viewer. Danielle, you watched obviously, and I don't want to stand in the way. So what I've decided to do is I've got my headphones here and I'm gonna listen to Jellicle songs for Jellicle Cats
Makes sense to me.
from the musical Cats. Obviously. And so you guys can talk. So I'll just
Every minute, can you just like shout out one word from the song?
It's gonna be Jellicle.
Every minute, I need a Jellicle.
Yeah, but so you guys talk, and I'll let you know when I'm playing the.
All right, yeah. Let me know when you're playing it because we want to make sure that you're not listening to any of these spoilers.
Hang on.
Because they are
All right,
major
talk
spoilers.
and see if I can hear you.
All right, can you hear me?
I can.
So,
All right, he can't hear me. All right, so last night the season finale of Masked Singer aired, and we do have a winner, and the winner is the Fox, who is Brady. Brady beat out Rottweiler, who was Chris Daltrey, and Flamingo, who was Adrienne Bailon, who is one of the Cheetah Gals.
Cheetah Sisters.
Cheetah Sisters. Nick Cannon, who hosts the show, called the Fox's time on the show the greatest musical performance in television history. Not just,
He did.
Ryan likes
he
that.
He did indeed say that.
A lot of things have been on TV. Grammys have been on TV. I feel like every music video ever has been on television.
The Super Bowls.
Halftime performances have been on television. None of those are good. It was just this.
This was the greatest.
This was the greatest.
Yo, and make fun all we want, but these were 3 bomb-ass performances last night.
They were pretty great.
They were really great. I can't believe, because I'm a newcomer, this is only my second episode ever, I can't believe how much this means to them. Like, hearing a flamingo, like, cry and be like, this is my life, and hearing a Rottweiler be like, I was told I'd never amount to nothing, or what?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sitting, like, crying at puppet. I mean, they're not puppets, but
They're basically puppets.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, no,
Crazy.
Hold on. Okay, it got silent in Dan's earphones for a second, so I wanted to make sure. Yeah, no, like it's insane to me. Like everyone who performs on this is like, you know, this is my chance, this is my opportunity. This was the chance for me to like redeem myself, or I never knew I could do this. Like this show means a lot to the performers.
Did you think that Fox should have won?
Oh yeah, I think he killed. I mean, on the whole, it should have been Patti LaBelle. I'm assuming she just wanted to stop wearing that costume.
See, I didn't watch then, so I don't know.
See, yeah, it was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What was the costume?
She was a flower with a flower face.
Of course.
So
You know who's so good? Chris Daughtry.
he was really good.
He was excellent.
Really,
I was not thinking that's who that was.
I was genuinely very surprised at how
So
good
he's
that
the only
was.
one they didn't guess, right?
I think so. Yeah. I'm also I'm on the Dan team with that, where I don't really pay attention to a lot of what the panel says.
Wait, he wants us to hold on.
Change songs real quick. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, go ahead. Change. No more
So what am I
Jellicles?
gonna do? What should I do? Oh, Magical Mr. Mustafa. Sorry.
There
Oh,
we
that
go.
was
Yeah.
excellent
There
in
we
the
go.
movie. Mm-hmm.
You better expense these.
Magical
All right, you good?
Mustafa Lee.
So they also.
Magical Mr. Mustafa Lee.
Yes. So they did have a season 3 preview, which you did not get a chance to watch.
No, this is news to me.
Yeah. So they
I
had-
saw this here. I'm going to watch all next season.
Yeah. So for season 3, they did have it started with Nick Cannon goes to different people's domiciles and presents them with their costume.
So we know who's on the show then?
No. They do hints both for.
No, but we don't know, but they know? They already know who's
No,
cast?
it starts right after the Super Bowl, so it's probably already taped and done. February 2nd. It's probably already taped and done.
Oh, I don't have to wait a year.
No, you don't have to wait a year. No.
Wow.
You go get your Masked Singer in 2 months.
Damn.
Or a month, basically. So yeah, it started with they go to this house in the Beverly Hills, and there's a little chihuahua and a chick wearing Uggs. And so my thought is it's either a Paris Hilton or a Nicole Richie or a Jessica Simpson.
But what if it's Reese Witherspoon because Chihuahua?
That would be great. Nick Cannon did say that these are the biggest stars that have ever been on the show. I think the second.
Paris Hilton does sing though. She does.
That is true. She had Stars Are Blind.
but
baby.
yes, baby. Yeah.
You guys should look that up. There is a music video.
It is real.
And baby, the stars are blind. I know that whole song.
Me
That is
too.
bad.
I do too.
I wish I didn't. The second one they showed was a cowboy tipping his hat, and then a robot comes out. And my theory on that one is that it is Josh Holloway from Lost.
I love Josh Holloway.
So that's because, Bad Robot,
Yeah.
cowboy stuff. And then there were some other ones which I don't have yet. There was a banana, there was a monster. So we will see.
How does Josh Holloway sing?
I don't think so, but a lot of them
Don't?
sing,
Okay.
yeah.
Because by the time I started tuning in, they all sing.
Yeah, they all sang.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes people do not sang. Speaking of singing, I kind of want to just pretend we're still talking about this so I can watch Dan jam out.
No, let's let him come back.
Yeah, just let him. Well, he's in the cat's hole now. How do you get out of a cat's hole?
Ketamine.
Cat. I was trying not to say it. Thank you, Roxy. We're done.
Okay.
No, we don't want to say we're done though.
Yeah, we were going to let you stay in the cave.
I can't lie to you. We're done for the last 4 minutes.
That's fine.
We did
Not
now.
4 minutes, 1 minute.
I said in my review, Cats is a terrible musical, but the music isn't terrible.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Mr. Mistopheles is dope song.
Yeah. Oh, much better even in the musical. It wasn't a funeral dirge like it is in the movie. Sorry.
All right. Speaking of funeral dirge, we should get rid of that chair. I've got to stop segueing. Make sure that you follow us on Screen Junkies, you on Twitter, and we will see all of you back here tomorrow.
Not
Bye.
me. Happy New Year.
I'll
Happy
be here.
holidays.
Bye, Dan.
I'll see you in the pre-tapes.
I'll see you in the pre-tapes.
This holiday, the toys of a generation of Star Wars fans come home. Explore a whole galaxy of Star Wars toys available at Target.